Did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alpha the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea? So twice 5 miles of fertile ground, with walls and towers were girdled round, and there were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree. And here were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep romantic chasm, which slanted down the green hill of water-cedarn cover, a savage place, as holy and enchanted as there beneath a waning moon was haunted by a woman wailing for her demon lover. And from this chasm, with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast thick pants were breathing, a mighty fountain momently was forced, amid whose swift, half-intermitted burst, huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. And mid these dancing rocks at once and ever, it flung up momently the sacred river, 5 miles meandering, with amazing motion. Through wood and dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And amid this tumult Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer, in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song, to such a deep delight would win me, that with music loud and long I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice. And all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware, his flashing eyes, his floating hair. Weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honeydew hath fed and drunk the milk of paradise.
Hey, it's me. I put me instead of the music. I wish I was able to do this well, but I have the weirdest problems every time, so I feel like I have to... Oh, whatever. Good evening! How are you doing? Today I worked on this a lot, and then I get to 9 o'clock and it doesn't work, and I'm completely exhausted, and I can't go to, and I can't wait to go to bed, and I don't know why it's not working right now. I'm sorry. Like my OBS is all broken, and now I just broke it some more. So I'm going to click refresh on the window that you're supposed to see, which I can't personally see myself. There's just like Bruce Springsteen in a corner. Tell me if you can see Bruce Springsteen in the corner, like it's, or if you see the hate is a hoax thing, because I just don't understand why it's not showing what I selected. Because I do have a presentation, like I have a slideshow for this. So I'm gonna let it refresh for a while. So how are you doing? Today is day 3,388. I've been counting the days. Not necessarily till we get to now. I just noticed last week that this is what was coming up. Did Donald Trump do something weird today? Because usually he picks 88 to do something weird. And on like a few years ago, he had a hole in one. So that's why I said that, like he picks 88 to prove his supernatural skills. So yeah, um, I'm still gonna try to get this to work. Okay. See now that so what I'm seeing is not the same thing as what it says on YouTube when I am. So now it's Caroline. Yeah, it's another one. Why is it doing that though? It doesn't really make any sense because the thing works. So I'm gonna just like, all right. So the width, the height, this cancel. Why does it do that? It makes absolutely no sense to me why this is it. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna break something else. I go here and I do this and then I do that and I show this one instead. Maybe it's gonna work. I don't know, like everything that I have is failing on me. Like I have 100,000 pictures that I made for you, but I can't show them to you because I've been working on software for 4 years. It works on my TV, but when I try to play in an OBS, it doesn't work. I'm on my third microphone purchased over the last year that I can't get to work. Like this one kind of works right now, but I have to yell into it. So I don't know if I'm ever going to be good enough to be able to broadcast the things that I have. It's very strange. It's like kind of disappointing. But anyways, so this is just like trying to show a page. So, and it doesn't work. How do I do this then? First of all, this takes forever to load. So target works. Target seems to work. So I'm gonna break this. So now then, no, none of my pages are gonna work. No, that didn't work. I screwed up. I don't really know what to do. And it's kind of disappointing. Why is it just her? Like it makes no sense. Okay, gonna reset the whole thing. We're gonna go with we're gonna go low resolution. We're gonna do this and see what happens. Try again. All right. So I just wanted to talk about a few topics today. What did I say? I said I was going to talk about custody. I really want to talk about custody in the Diddy case because this is something that Diddy was talking about in the beginning. It's very, very important. It fits into everything else. It really fits. The child custody question in the Diddy case really exposes something about the strategy. Let's make it profesh. So where everything has to be professional. I have it. It's working now. Okay. So now I can do this and I'm going to be able to see it. Woohoo. All right. So yeah, so in the United States, like when Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State, she told her contacts that they should be legit. Barack Obama said that too. He said, if you come to the United States, like be legit. So as an example, like, like Hillary Clinton, she because if people come to the United States, it's because they want to have a house in a community that has children of the community, and they're able to receive every single month the proceeds of the children of the community. So that's the point, right? So Diddy, he had 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his house, This is code, I think. It's code for the byproducts that are extracted from children. Now, in the United States, people, like, if they want to be legit, they are going to gain the legal custody of a child before proceeding to removing their bodily fluids to sell them to somebody else. I call these people ogre bitches. And I was totally expecting that we would have some form of an example of an ogre bitch at some point, but what all that we have is Diddy, Diddy, it is 1,000 bottles of baby oil. When I heard this, I thought, I hope because that's fucking dangerous. Like the baby oil is super dangerous. And if you put that, like if you take a bath in baby oil, it's very dangerous because if it gets in your nose and in your eyes, and you can easily drown in this. Like you can't spit it out. It's like it coats everything. So I used to teach BDSM classes and do safety and stuff like that and organize parties and everything. And this is absolutely never something that would have been acceptable to do at a freaky party because it's so dangerous. Of course, if for Diddy it's like a euphemism for something else, then fine, But there is that gif of him photographed in front of a whole bunch of baby oil bottles. So that's why I thought, well, maybe like it's a euphemism for cerebrospinal fluid, which is the thing that people extract from children. So anyhow, in the United States, there is an active child rehousing system. People exchange on forums and they exchange their children. And of course, like the reasons, supposedly the reason for this is that they're having a hard time with the kids, so they want to rehome them and stuff like that. But there is a free child market in the United States. Like people are raging about, like child trafficking, but they never, ever, ever bother the immense forums where people are talking about rehousing the children they have custody of. Now, in the United States, the loophole is child custody. So so you have to look at if you want to find children who are in danger, what you need to find is that one person who has the custody of like 25 kids, 30 kids, 50 kids, 100 kids, 10,000 kids, 30,000 kids. It doesn't matter. You're going to find this. You're going to find people who work to get the legal custody of a whole bunch of children. Now, when children are abused in this way, this is serious human rights abuses. So when children are abused this way, they are of course it's terrible for their health, but they will develop dark circles around their eyes. They look like the panda baby, They look very wayfish. They look tired. And if this happens to them for more than a few months, it's going to stunt their growth and cause them irreparable damage, as well as possibly some health issues that are going to go on for the rest of their life. So the darkest dark is the spinal tap. So if you go back to the film, The Spinal Tap, in the film, or there's a gif of this if you want to pull it up, the singer of the group is obsessed with the color black, and he found the blackest black. And the blackest black is Spinal Tap. There's still no talk about this at all in the mainstream public, even though it's the procedure that is alleged in the serious human rights abuse of the executive order that Donald Trump passed in late 2017. So I'm going to go through a whole bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, like in the case of Diddy bragged about having the custody of Usher while he was doing his album. And then when he went out and spent a few days with Justin, he said, I don't have the custody of Justin or yet, so he was really floating the fact that he could get legal access to Justin Bieber so that then he could, do whatever he wanted to him. I want to reiterate that these are national security workers, that they are trusted people, and that they are acting. However, it's very important because what they did, the life that they astroturfed for since 1980, it has helped audit every single three-letter agency in the United States sideways at the same time as it was grounding up internationals who want to influence the United States. So they're still doing that. You know, there's still people, internationals who want to influence the United States, and they are the first person they're going to meet is some celebrity, you know, who's going to be their best friend. That's the idea. It's what George Carlin said. Peace be with you, and may the evil get lost, get distracted, or, you know, lost on the way to your house. The celebrities really are there to attract and catch the perverts long before they ever get to anyone. So they are masters at giving hope to the enemy. That's what they do. So I'm going to start the thing here. And as it happens, today, the birthdays connect to a whole bunch of interesting things that I've talked about before. I'm going to make it so I can see can I see your comments? Okay, so do you see the story of today now? It's supposed to be started, so it's going to change soon. Come on! Oh, I'm just going to do it by hand. Yes, this is the date for today. And so it's already that. Oh, it's day 3389. My backgrounds are not working. Great. So I've told you before, our calendar folds on December 20, 2012, because that's the date of the end of the world. It is the date of the old world lease on Earth, and it's the day after, on December 21, 2012, we can start to kill them all. Yes, well, there's a lot of national security workers that refer to this. There's Metallica, and there's also a professional wrestler and a UFC fighter, Brock Lesnar, who has the tattoo of the enemy on his back, and it says below him, "Kill them all," and there's shackles that are broken. So December 20th is about ending slavery worldwide. The world does not equal the earth, huh? Because the world is really like all of us who are cosmopolitan, modern, and really interested in in what's going on. You know, the globalized world to a certain extent. The earth is something else. So the world really only references the people who are fighting and struggling for power. So since December 20th, 2012, it's been 4,296 days. And total eclipse of the heart day, which was the day of the eclipse, you know, just the day before Hugh Hefner's birthday, that was day number 4,119, which is 9/11 backwards. 4,119 days before December, before the date of the end of the world, it was 9/11. So now my thing has gone away. Where is it? That's great. For some strange reason, my presentation has died. So I have to reload it, I guess. No? Or I have been removed from my chat was disconnected. Yeah, I'm having issues. You don't really have to worry, you know, about what's been going on over the last 5 years or even 10 years, because every single thing that you see is a milestone or like a step in a security project. So all of the people that you see are actors. The only real law enforcement is the one that you don't hear about. And so if you listen to the local news, then you're going to find out about the real arrests and all that. But at the national level, all that the media obsesses about, all the victims that cry, they're all honeypots, and they're all, like registering milestones. Well, so now I've lost my thing. Which kind of sucks. Really, it kind of sucks. Now I've got my hate is a hoax. So today there are the birthdays of really interesting people. So I'm gonna try to something, and I'm gonna start an application capture, a display capture. Woohoo! Can I do that? No, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna try to look at my video capture, window capture. Yeah, window capture. I'm gonna try to window capture something. And I'm gonna go to, no, it can only see this. So let's do, I've never had this much trouble trying to do this, but like sincerely, like what just happened is not normal. See now, is it back? I think it might be back. This is even worse. Wait. Transform, fit the screen. Yeah, maybe that's not the correct thing to be showing. Let's go here. Let's go and do today. Maybe that's gonna work. Maybe we can see it from here. Yay! Okay, so this might work. Okay, so if I do F11. Okay. Does it work again? I think it works again. I think it works again. Okay. So every day, if we fold the calendar on December 20th, 2012, it means that every day has a mirror date that keeps going back in time. And it's interesting because today's mirror date is March 17th, 2001, and it was St. Patrick's Day. And I think like OPEC announced something, but outside of that, nothing really happened. It's kind of astonishing how peaceful everything is before September 11th. I really feel like that on September 11th, 2001, I just gotten a job at an ad agency, and I was supposed to take over the directorship of the production department. And from one day to the next, I was fired because the owner of the agency where I worked was a day trader and all that stuff. And he just, like, when September 11th happened, he said, "Oh, I'm just like not," he's just like, removed everything that he planned to do. And it was kind of weird because I was working on the airport website back for Montreal. And in the morning, the first thing I heard is that nobody was in the office on September 11th because they had a party the night before and they were all drunk. And I thought that that was highly suspicious because when September 11th happened, all of the airport executives of the entire North America were in Montreal. Isn't that weird? Nobody's ever talked about this. But anyhow, they changed the whole place in the airport, and like I think by noon, everybody had like an office with a working phone and all that stuff. So they did really well. But anyhow, yeah, that's my 9/11 story. So the exclusive portraits of the historical figures. Woohoo! Did that really flicker? Like, what does it do? Why does it do that? Yeah, why does it do that? Does it flicker? Why? Like, there's a ghost in my computer. I'm telling you. Well, we're gonna go do something else. So I have 7 people featured today. I'm gonna gossip about them, and I'm sorry that this is so crappy. Look, Mickey Rooney! Yay! So, see, Mickey Rooney is somebody that I would have done a special presentation on with pictures and all that, because I post pictures of him. Yesterday, I disclosed that Mickey Rooney is Saint Ninian and that he is the champion of our group in like about 700, 600. Well, when he was alive. When Saint Ninian was alive, you can just go look up his Wikipedia. And Saint Ninian is the early Christian who befriended the pigs in the Highlands, and he's the reason why we got invited over. And my group back in the day, because I still remember it, my group, we used to walk around Wales. At the time, we didn't actually walk all the way up to the Highlands. We had one huge horse, which we got in Friesland. We had a lockbox that was given to us by the king, one of the kings, because there were a whole bunch of kings back then. And we were carrying our Bibles at that point and the Royal Mail in a lockbox. We weren't carrying them in our hands anymore. But for like hundreds of years, we carried Bibles in our hands from monastery to monastery in Wales. And then after that, we decided that we would like to expand. I would say that we were able to survive because we eventually made peace with the Druids. We were Essenes, so descendants of Jesus who walked all the way from Judea, and we set up our first little camping in what's the Church of Joseph and Jesus in England, and well, there's a festival there now, and why do I not remember the name anymore? Um, and then we used to hang around the Mount of Saint Michael, which is very close to the river, our river, because the Red River, because we got our iron-rich water out of that stream or that well, and it's the well of Saint Michael, I think it's still called. And we carried that water with us as well, and it was full of iron, and it was our secret weapon. And we gave this water to the people that we encountered who were weak, because we were part of the people who lived in the forest, and of course, like a lot of the people who lived in the forest, they just hunted rabbits and squirrels, and they were fine. And they had their meat in their diet, but there are some people that went weak because they of course the people in the forest that couldn't hunt, they were poor, like they weren't beef eaters, like that's why we call the guards of the queen the beef eaters, because they ate meat. They, of course, they look good, but back in the day, that was still the Dark Ages, and the people were weak. So we'd go around, and our trick was remembering people's names from one year to the next when we passed by. So they really loved us. This is how we got invited into every castle when we passed by, because we had the best stories. So officially, we were Essenes. So we were still like Essenes mixing in with the early Christians. We became friends with the Druids, and the Druids could have killed us off. Like they put a yew tree in our well. Like they didn't like us in the beginning. This was kind of like a low-key war. And eventually we made peace with them, and they taught us everything they knew about the fairies and the underground and all of these things. Like the Druids taught us a lot, and they taught us to beware of certain things. And then when we went into the Highlands, then the pigs, we became warriors like them. So we, as like descendants of Jesus or Yeshua and Joseph, we're not warriors. Like people come to us, we don't go to them. So if we encountered, like we tried to stay away from the Romans, because we would have absolutely no defense against the Romans if they wanted to hurt us. But for the most part, like back in the day, the people knew who we were, and they knew we were 100% inoffensive. And that's very important. And this, like the saints and the nuns back in the day, were like that too. Well, Ninian wasn't a saint back then. So Mickey Rooney, he was conceived around December 18, 1919. Maybe it's December 19, 1919. We'll see. So 9 months and 7 days before he was born, it was December 26, 104 years ago. So he's a Christmas baby, of course. So this was when Babe Ruth was traded by the Boston Red Sox to the New York Yankees for $125,000. That's the largest sum ever paid for a player up to this point. So now we have a sense of scale. Like $125,000 was a huge deal for the best baseball player. So, yeah, here's his picture. Look at this man. Okay, so Babe Ruth is important. His name is Babe. Babe Ruth is the source of clergymen. So it's normal that Mickey Rourke would be from Babe Ruth because we get saints from Babe Ruth. I'm not going to tell you the other one, but there is a guy who comes from Babe Ruth. You will never believe that it's from Babe Ruth, but he's playful. His name is His Holiness, and he's kind of fun. There you go. This is really weird. Like, it's showing it to me twice. It's very strange. Yeah. So, do I have a doppelganger for him? He was born along with Dina Sheridan, who's an actress. Yeah. But it doesn't really work. Wait a second. What's wrong with this thing? I still have a lot of work to do on this, but I think it's starting to look good. Like all of the images in here are custom. All of the portraits that you see, like this one of Eliu B. Washburn, they're custom. I made them. So I have over about 3,000 at this point. They're kind of cool. So, of course, he's a diplomat and a politician. It's just that it's interesting where he comes from. Oh, I had a relationship with a guy named Washburn, like about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. And I did his ancestry, and he traces back to that guy. So he was conceived on January 1, 1816. So this is when Samuel T. Coleridge put out the Kubla Khan novel, the Kubla Khan poem, which is a song I played at the beginning. See, I'm having trouble again. Oh well. We'll get back to him because now I lost my place. So we're gonna do an instead. All right. So this is Anne Cécile Desclos. Now nobody knows her because she wrote like these salacious books under the name Pauline Réage. So she's known for the erotic novel The Story of O. And I have this book. I have the first edition, the one that's banned. And when you open the front page, when you open the front page, my grandfather, who's the one that got the book, he typed in, he put in the newspaper clipping that said that this book was banned in Montreal in 1954. So I really love my book, The Story of O, and I started reading it. And then I chucked it because I thought, this is problematic. This is problematic. So I thought it was hilarious that I felt like this about this book, given the fact that I have a very long presence in the BDSM community, that I've been into, power exchange relationships for 20 years. I have a whole bunch of friends who are into this. But when I pick up this book and I read it, I'm like, wait, this is problematic. And it's the exact same thing with the Anne Rice book. Anne Rice wrote an erotic version of Sleeping Beauty. And a friend of mine gave me this book and he says, read this book. It's very dirty. And I start reading the book. It's the same thing as the story of O. Like, it's problematic. It's like it manages to be problematic in the first 10 pages. And I'm like, ah. So I chucked the book, you know. I was talking about this book with my mother, who's the one that wound up giving me the book, and her sister. And I told them, and that was 25 years ago, I said, when I write my story of O, I'm putting my real name on it. And that's what I told my mother. So, hey, it's coming. Because what am I doing now? The story of O. It's just not the same story. So she was conceived on December 17th. The woman was made to do some contrast. The woman is on purpose. So I don't know if this is updated, but yeah, and it's 117 years ago. Eh? So I have the London Underground's Great Northern, Piccadilly and Brampton Railways opening. So this would be attributable to King Edward, Bertie, who was my darling back in the day. So Bertie is the guy who's in the story of O. So this is a book that comes from his confessions. So Bertie was in confession salon twice. We did 2 salons on sex and feminism for the future. And he was the topic. King Edward VII, when he was Prince of Wales, was the specialist of sexy in the Community of the Resurrection, which is a group that is working to resurrect Christ within every single one of us. King Edward VII was a special project. Look at his birthday, November 9th, 1841. What does that mean? It's the birthday of Jesus inverted, because 9/11 is the birthday of Yeshua, and if you split it, you get November 9th. So this is very important, what I'm going to tell you, because it has a big effect on the future and on modernity and on men. King Edward was conceived and manifested as an expression of Christ, who is not supposed to be bothered by the fact that he's been celibate for so many years. So he's sexy Jesus. He was encouraged to get around, and he was watched very, very carefully by his mother, Queen Victoria, who thought he was a disaster. But in reality, he wasn't. He was perfect. That man was perfect. And he was my friend and kind of like my boss back then, because of course Victoria, when she was older, she didn't care. So she just always deferred me to him. And so we worked together on the operations that we were doing. But what it means for him, I think that he was a success, because he displayed all the women he was sleeping with were my friends, you know. So when I would go to the castle or to the palace, like, he'd grab me and take me to a corner. He'd say, okay, so-and-so said, he would ask me questions so that he could understand his girlfriends. Like, he was sincerely interested in making the women in his life happy. Like, he is obsessed with women. He wanted to make women happy. He is exactly what we want. You know, like Mel Gibson is the same thing. And what film did he make? What women want. So this is what we want from our ideal man. A man who is thoroughly interested by women, thoroughly interested in getting along with women, who can put up with women when they're being annoying because they're feminists. This we used to talk about a lot. It's like, how will men cope in the future when women are feminists? And I think we've reached that moment 150 years later. where women are like right now, like women are trying to figure out like, okay, what do we do with all this power? And there's some women that what they do is to just hurt men. Oh, now we can hurt men. Great, let's hurt men. Like this doesn't work. That two wrongs don't make a right. So this is something that started with Birdie back in like the 1880s and 90s, and I think that he turned out fantastic. Do I have anything else about him? So he passed away in 1910. So before that, he was very, very helpful. And I think that he might be the father of Anne Cecile. So the name Anne means Inanna, means Queen of Heaven. So she represents origin, right? So it's the same name as me, actually. So the story of Vaux comes from the fantasy book of King Edward and Thyself, I think. But I find the book annoying when I read it. So I think that maybe it's his stuff. It's not my stuff. But I'll revisit it eventually, and maybe I'll go to ChatGPT and ask it a whole bunch of questions about the plots and the characters, and I'll be able to find, without having to read it, all of the references, all the gossip about the people from back then. The other gossip that I have about him is that his mother was the opposite of him. So his mother is actual, real, true mother, because it's not Queen Victoria. She received them as a gift. His mother is Georges Sand. Georges Sand, the French, one of the most beloved and popular French novelists of all time. Her virgin mother name is Aurore, but she was so obsessed with men. She loved men so much. She so wanted to make men happy and know what they wanted and chat with them that she would dress as a man so she could hang out in the pub with them. Not in the pub, but in the cafe, because it was in Paris. And and she popularized this so much that the French passed a law that you had to get a permit if you wanted to cross-dress. Like, it's because of her. And she didn't care. She didn't get a permit. So she could have gone to jail for this, but she didn't. So so the woman who manifested this beautiful man that I really, really loved was the opposite of him. And she was more like me, because I'm also like Georges Sand. Like, if I was born in the day of Georges Sand, I would have dressed as a man to go hang out with the guys. I would not have hung out with the ladies. So I totally understand Georges Sand, and that's why I got along very well with King Edward. There we go. So on the left, Vilma Love Parlegy. I hope you see what's on her head, right? You do see it, right? You have to see it. She was a narrative producer. What does she have on her head? It's the poo stack emoji. It really is the poo stack emoji. The poo stack emoji is a joke from source. I will explain it eventually. So it's a joke of O. And Vilma wears the poo stack on her head. Again, I have lost my place. I'm going to have to remove the part where it reloads the thing. So we're going to have a new person. Yay, Tefari Campbell. So born in 1978. So you know who this guy is, right? He's a personal chef to Obama, and he died in an accident on a paddle board when he was close to the Obama's Massachusetts home. This occurred last summer, and by December, it was ruled an accident. So he was conceived on March 27, 1977. And again, we have 9 months and 5 days because that's about 280 days. 280 days, the block time. So on December 15, 1977, there was a film that was released. It was called The Last Wave. The Last Wave is right now. We're in the last one, the last wave, because the last year. We're in the last year of this annoying stuff. So this is a film that starred an exceptional person, David Gulpilil. He's an Aboriginal Australian man from the North Colony. So I posted a picture of where he comes from. And I think I found Oz because this guy doesn't seem like he comes from Plus Ultra. He seems like he is an Aboriginal man from Australia. See? So he's different than everybody else that I've studied. He's passed away. As it happens, his wife is kind of a big deal in the art world. So she's, very interesting to follow. So you can research this. I say he was born on July 1, 1953, but between you and me and the fence post, this is what a missionary wrote in the book. Yeah, I no longer have the chat. So his birthday is not correct. His birthday, this is what a missionary wrote in the book because he does not know when he was born. He did not know what his age was. There was no recording of this in his tribe. So this is what I have. I have Tefari Campbell from David Gulpilil, the most exceptional man I've ever found in my research. So, because he seems to be coming from the group that's somewhat associated to Jimmy Carter, I have Rosalind Carter. Well, the first lady is the default choice in every way, every time. So you start with the first lady, and then you go down. But David Gulpilil comes from, I think, a region that is co-administrated between the United States and Australia. I think it is Oz. I think it is where Barack Obama sends people in transportation, just like Queen Victoria did in Australia in her day. Barack Obama is in charge of transportation. He's in charge of making sure everybody's at the right place at the right time. So that's why I give him Rosalind Carter, because Rosalind Carter is, as the First Lady, she is the Queen of the United States and the Queen of the New World. She is very, very important. It is the birthday of Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen, who introduced Courtney Cox to Dance in the Dark in 1984 on Valentine's Day. Isn't that sweet? So her TV show Friends started 10 years later. So Bruce Springsteen, he was born in 1949. And Bruce Springsteen, I think he does a podcast with Obama. So he's in Obama's, like Friends group. They were pretty much on schedule. 9 months, 6 days. It's always, and it's not showing up. No, the thing is not showing up. So I have another one. So 75 years ago on December 29, 1948, we have James B. Forrestal made his initial report to President Harry Truman. And this is something I should have reformatted, but it was about the Earth satellite program. So the satellite thing in 1948 to 1950, all the agencies were like everywhere, and there was like a lot of bringing agencies together so that it makes sense. Also, it's good for security to change the agencies around so that, like if they're entrenched with problematic people, you can change that around. It's the same thing that Donald Trump has done by creating Space Force. He has been able to yank back a whole bunch of space program stuff that was being done by the Navy, which makes no sense. Yeah. So now we have James Forrestal, the former United States Secretary of the Navy, who died under strange circumstances. So I still haven't validated that his death was a hoax. because I haven't looked at it. Eventually, I will do that, and I will answer the mystery. What the heck happened to James Forrestal? So James Forrestal, highest security in the world. He is the liaison between the Soviet Union and the United States. In his day, he has a natural link to the Soviet Union because he's from Peter Tchaikovsky, just like Dwight E. Eisenhower. So we in the United States, the most beloved generals generally come from composers. Eventually, I'll explain why, but yeah. Yeah, this is that it is what it is. But I had like a thing for the mom. I don't understand why it flickers like this. So I'm gonna go through again and until we hit someone else that I didn't do. Mickey! So Dinah Sheridan. I don't know if she's his twin. I don't have an official twin for him. Okay. So for Mickey Rooney, this is Linda Lee. Linda Lee Thomas, the wife of Cole Porter. So Cole Porter was famously gay, but he married Linda Lee. And Linda Lee is from the Lee, the Robert E. Lee family, you know. So she's kind of a big deal. She's really cool. Eliu Washburn, we have that he was is Kubla Khan, the Xanadu poem, or A Vision in a Dream, by Samuel T. Coleridge. So Xanadu is a vision in a dream and a fragment because like it's all of the history of the world is fragmented into dreams. So you'll find the information through the films, through the books, and through all the other stuff that is composed by people. So Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Like, how do I... This guy was the half-brother of P.T. Barnum. So that's kind of cool. That was his interesting connection. He's from the Queen of Heaven, Désirée Clary, the Queen of Sweden. And he's a member of the Lake Poets. So the Lake Poets come from the Queen of Heaven because she's the lake. So lake, like it means Lynn, it means Inanna, it means Anne, like this various Joanne. These are all lake names. So he also he has oh, this is cool. Wait, look. Jane Austen. Jane Austen was a powerhouse. She had self-publication power. So when Ellie P. Washburn was conceived, she was able to publish her book. So we can know it's her. There she is. So she has 6 major novels. That means she has 6 sets of twins that you can find, and you can see how their career glorified the talent of Jane Austen and took her work further. So the other thing that happened at the same time, because this is important and this has to do with the lake poets and the sending, sending composer children to the United States. So it was at the same time that the Handel and Haydn Society was formed in Boston, and they gave their first performance. This is annoying. Oh yeah. I have a bonus. We're gonna do the bonus. Hello. This is new. Like I can have a bonus. I can't see your questions, by the way, but I see that there hasn't been that many questions, and that oh cool. There's 5 viewers. Okay, cool. Last time I got 77 views, which is kind of nice. Hey, today our bonus person is Norma McCorvey. Do you know who she is? It was her birthday yesterday. Think about it. This is Jane Roe of Roe versus Wade. Do you remember when Q asked us who was Jane Roe? And her real name is Norma McCorvey. This. I didn't find this. This is just documented. Everybody knows it's Norma McCorvey. But I'm trying to find out who she is, because of course this is a disposable identity for the simple purpose of passing Roe versus Wade. You're going to say, that's impossible. How could they know like 20 years in advance that they're going to need an actress for this, the perfect person for the job? Look, we are watching performers rush the future. So when, let's say that a plot to destroy like a shopping center exists in the future. Do you know what the national security or planetary security is going to do? They're going to steal the plot. And they're going to arrest everybody. And they're going to use this plot in order to hoodwink a whole bunch of other people. And then they're actually going to destroy them all. And then all of the people who found out about this are going to be like, holy shit, that guy succeeded. And then they're all going to go to that guy. But that guy is now like a clown. So they're all running towards the clown because the clown seems like he succeeded. You see? That's the 20th century. But the idea is to always rush. It's pretty much the same thing as in Minority Report. You know, like you rush in, you prevent they call it just in time. So whenever they stop let's say the plot is to destroy the shopping center, but for some reason, like there's a whole bunch of things that make it impossible to take the plot over. So then what they're going to do is they're going to prevent the attack just in time, just before it's supposed to happen. And so this way, but the thing is, the thing with these things that are prevented is that we never know they never happen. So it's like in my work, you know, like my clients don't get hacked, and then they say, why do we pay you? We never get hacked. See, people, yes, you pay me and you don't get hacked. So what happens is that I get hired because somebody got hacked. I charge them 3 times the money to fix their thing, and then they pay me for a year, and then they're like, oh, there's no problem anymore. I don't get hacked anymore. Then they fire me. So this is what happens in my field. People don't understand how it works. Anyhow, so Jane Roe, like, do I even have a thing for her? Where is it? No, it doesn't want to show. Ah! Wow, that's terrible. But I don't really have anything for her. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I wanted to show you that Jane Roe's manifestation film is on purpose, and it's called It's a Wonderful Life. Do you understand the joke? And it's a Christmas film. So this is very, very important. So this film was released on December 20th, 1946. What is December 20th? It's the day when we release the things that have to do with our emancipation. This was a film with Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart is the one registering Jane Roe. And he is the highest ranking United States military officer to ever be in the Ghost Army. When he returned from World War II, he had PTSD, but they immediately put him in a new program with Barnum and Bailey's that was training intelligence workers and teaching them how to be clowns. And so he developed his clown character, and he wasn't even credited as Jimmy Stewart in The Greatest Show on Earth, just as his clown, Buttons. So Jimmy Stewart is really interesting. He's also 006, I think. Well, he has a character in the James Bond franchise, the clown one. The clown who had an egg and and was killed. Like I think it's the second James Bond. That was Jimmy Stewart. So there's disclosure about his private missions in World War II in there. So yeah, that's what I had to say about this. And upcoming tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I have Michael Douglas upcoming. I don't know why I have him there. But apparently it thinks that tomorrow is going to be 25th. Oh, it's because it's past. Yeah. Okay. So now it thinks that tomorrow is September 25. But we'll go through them fast. Michael Douglas, he's the Prince of Peace. He really is Michael. And he's exactly in the place where he should be right now, managing world peace and denuclearization. So bravo to him. And yeah, I would totally love it if he could play Louis Kossuth in my story about that time when death took a holiday and Laos Kossuth came to the castle in Turin so that we could work on an arts project together. So Michael Douglas is 78 years old. He would be perfect for the role, but he would have to be naked most of the movie. So you see, I'm the person that has a script with a plot device that forces Michael Douglas to be naked in my movie. This is me. Mina Krushman. I don't remember her story, but she was a Dutch writer and a feminist. Oh, yeah. She played a victim in the Jack the Ripper case. Yeah, she does have a story, actually. Then I have Glenn Gould, the Canadian classical pianist. And yeah. And is there more? I think that's it. What was the other thing I said I was going to talk about? Because at this point, yeah. Yeah, I had Caroline Lagerfeld, but yeah. Like I have weird doppelgangers. Like look at this. They look alike. Like this is so fucking weird. Don't you think so? They look alike. And then if I do this, on the left is Caroline Lagerfeld. On the right is Anne-Cécile Desclos. Caroline Lagerfeld is one of the two women who could be Jane Roe, but I'm still researching it. I think it's the other one, not Caroline. So Caroline Lagerfeld, she has the same last name almost as Karl Lagerfeld, who was an immense clown. Like Karl Lagerfeld was so funny that he actually stroked a cat. Like he had a white cat to stroke that, and he was wearing gloves. He's really hilarious because he's like a supervillain clown. But anyhow, Caroline Lagerfeld was born after Dior was founded, and Dior was founded, and the Lagerfeld family got a baby as a celebration. So it was always known that Karl Lagerfeld would wind up where he is today. And he's a watchtower clown. And just because of his appearance, his mannerism, what he says, and stuff like that, people are attracted to him and they think he's weird and they're going to tell him their weird secret. That's it. That's what a watchtower does. You know, they're just like in the right place at the right time, and just like people pass by and tell them stuff. You know, it's that's it. That's what people who work national security. That's what they do. They just have to pay attention. They have to pay attention to everything. So that was my story for today. That's what I had, and I was certainly hoping that it would work better, but now I've gone through it and I'm really happy. And yeah, I'm going to continue to try to fix my problems that I have with my sound and with all of that. And eventually it's going to be really cool because I'm going to be able to let it run all day. And then I can chime in sometimes while I'm working. Because sincerely, I have enough content to make this run for 5 years without it ever saying the same thing. It's just that I still have technical issues that are kind of strange. I don't have a producer, you know, so I do my best. But I hope that you liked it. I hope you had fun. And if I triggered some questions, you can just ask them or DM them to me. Like a lot of people DM me questions, and that's the best aspect of Twitter or X. You know, is the fact that I have a personal relationship with you guys and that we can check in sometimes and you get to ask questions and it reminds me what the things are that you want. The other thing I was supposed to do is do live solving of the blocks. I was supposed to go through an example of this tonight. However, I have so much trouble, I'm going to have to do a dry run of this process. But now I see that I can, you know, screen, I have my computer screen or my browser, and I'll be able to do it next time. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming by and listening. And I hope you have a good night. And I can't wait to till we run into each other again. Good night.
Everything